Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Welcome Grove Homestead. I have done another thing. Now, I told you guys that our new little boarling was going to be ready for pickup on Monday, the 31st of October, which it is. So I went out and got him, which you can probably hear him off camera. But this is our new little boar, Clark Kent, the man of Squeal. Hi, buddy. He is a little bit younger than the other two pigs that we picked up, but I think that he's going to be fine. He'll settle in and he'll grow and he'll be fine. But he's a pretty cute little dude. Hey, buddy. So he's got wattles, which is, I mean, it's purely cosmetic. They may or may not have them. So our barrows don't have them, and he does. And I don't think our little gilts will have them either, so he'll be unique for our farm. Hi, buddy. Yeah. You're gonna get used to my camera. But he's got like 4 little white socks and a pink nose. Hi, buddy. But he's got like that one little strip on his face is blonde, not white. So he technically counts as a tricolor. But he's super cute. Hi, buddy. Now it is rather damp out. It's starting to sprinkle again, so I'm going to get him unloaded, get him into the pen. Alright, so I got Mr. Clark Kent put in with Peter and Kevin. And he is definitely smaller than them. They are pushing him away from the feeder, and I mean, it's normal stuff that they would probably do to any pig that they don't know. So I'm going to watch him pretty close throughout the day. I'll probably plan on feeding him separately, at least for a bit, just because he is so much smaller. But he will catch up, and he'll be able to compete for food and be just as ornery and pushy as the others. He might need a little bit of help just in the beginning, but I'm pretty sure that he'll blend in, and they'll all be buddies. See, they push him away. So I'll go get him his own little bowl of food, probably. While little Mr. Clark Kent gets settled, I wanted to share with you guys a pretty cool story about something that we are doing with our cow Claire. So the guy that I got Claire from called me the other day and said, "Hey, are you interested in a calf? I don't think is going to make it." Like, oh boy, let me jump on that. No, so when I went out to look at Claire the first time, he had a bred heifer that she was very small, honestly. She's like nearly a mini Jersey size. I did pass on her because she had several extra teats. She had an issue with one of the teats leaking during her pregnancy, and so I didn't think that she would be a wise investment. But she ended up calving, and so he called me and said, "Hey, I'm not confident this calf is going to make it, but it's yours if you want it." Well, we couldn't really tackle another project, so I did call my neighbor that I bought Miss Kitty from, our newest goat, and because they've raised bottle calves before, and she has a history of taking in orphaned and needy animals. So she said yes, and she went to get little Bucky is what she has called him. He has a list of issues. He was born with an underbite, so he couldn't nurse. His mother rejected him, had no suckling reflex. He also had really tightly flexed tendons or ligaments in his ankles, and so he also couldn't stand. His back feet basically were curled so tight that he couldn't stand on his feet. She picked him up, took him home. It was still pretty touch and go, just because he wouldn't suckle, which is a big thing. If a calf won't nurse, if it won't eat, then it's not going to live. So before she decided to go ahead and tube him, she wanted to try squeezing him. Now some of you may be asking how squeezing a calf is going to be any help. This is a technique that is usually used with dummy foals that won't nurse. There's something that happens when they're being squeezed through the birth canal that is going to stimulate them for outside the womb life, basically. If they are born too quickly and don't get that squeeze, they actually will not gain a suckling reflex. And for some reason, putting just the right amount of pressure on them for 20 minutes or so they'll wake up and it'll stimulate them. Now that technique is called the Madigan squeeze. She sent me a picture of the little guy in a lead rope that she tied up to simulate this technique. But she said as soon as she put it on him, he just dropped right over into a dead sleep, kept that pressure on him for about 20 minutes, and then when she took the rope off of him, he was looking for an udder. He happily sucked down about a third of a bottle. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because Claire has been donating a little bit of her milk to help this calf. She's currently nursing 2 calves, but they're on a scheduled feeding. So just before I let them in to nurse on her, in the mornings, I yesterday milked out half a gallon and gave it to her. She does plan on switching him to formula, but he's just not there yet. He's still too fragile for a dietary change. So I've been giving her some of Claire's milk in the mornings, and it's not really pulling any more demand from her to drain out half a gallon or even a gallon and then put the calves on her. They finish draining her out, they go on and continue their day. So it just means that the 2 calves that she's nursing are getting a little bit less milk, but honestly they're both old enough that I could wean them if I wanted to. So I'm more than happy to be giving some milk for this little guy, little Bucky. Now as of yesterday, he still was not up. His tendons were still really tight in his feet, and we just sat and we worked on his feet, just flexing and pulling and straightening. Because we were trying to figure out if we needed to wrap his ankles. But I felt like the only thing that would accomplish is if we wrapped his ankle straight, then it would fuse it straight. It would lock it straight instead of just locking it like this. So we decided it would be better to do more of a physical therapy, flexing, stretching, and this morning he is up and he is walking. So it's weak, it's wobbly, but he is up. So this little calf that has been assumed was not going to make it through the day is still going here on day 3. So I will keep you guys updated on how little Bucky is doing. He is named Bucky because his teeth are so funky. But if he manages to pull through, I'd say at least the first couple of weeks, then I think that his prognosis is looking really good. Hello, pig ladies. Hi. Oh goodness. Laconia is not about to be left out of the attention. Hi, girls. Now, I also wanted to give you guys an update on my mom's knee. Many of you have been asking, inquiring, and praying for healing for her. We really appreciate that. They have been much needed. She does have to go in for some surgery because she ended up tearing her meniscus on both sides of her knee. And she did talk to an orthopedic surgeon, and he said that she's been doing great with physical therapy at home. She's not just sitting and putting her leg up and letting it freeze. She's been flexing it. She's been using it, being cautious. And he said that the mobility is actually looking really good on it. The only problem is that with one of the tears, she has a 2-centimeter tear in one of the sides of her knee, and unfortunately there is a piece about the size of my pinky tip that is floating around in there. And he said if it wasn't for that piece floating around, she probably could have gotten away with not doing surgery and just doing physical therapy. But because of that piece floating, it's a piece of cartilage, it's going to start shredding things and tearing things up in there. So it's got to come out. So she has surgery scheduled fairly quickly. They managed to get her in for the 11th of November. So please keep praying for her. She's going to have some pain. It's going to be a laparoscopic procedure, fortunately, so it's going to be minimally invasive, but there's a lot of just recovery that goes with any surgery. So definitely keep her in your prayers. We are very thankful that she has been able to maintain some mobility, and the surgeon thinks that she's doing so well. Now, some may wonder, and have asked, why we have pigs this close to my parents' house. The reason is that this whole area right here was really overgrown. We know that this is some very rocky ground up here. You can see just this little bit of rock that's been torn up from the construction up here. It's just crazy rocky in here, and it's kind of difficult for any machinery to come in and till this up. But my mom would like to turn this front yard area into a garden space. We're talking about making this into like a cottage garden, having flowers and beautiful things to grow here. So we figured, well, pigs are the best thing to clear out some of that nasty overgrowth, and they've done a pretty good job. It's pretty well cleared. And today is October 31st. I have a hammer. You know what else I have? I have a pumpkin. I think I'm going to give the animals a nice little tasty fall treat today. You gonna have some too, Hercules? Yeah. And Nestle is the last of the big goats, so we are waiting to be bred. The other three, Clover, Mayhem, and Maggie, have all been bred in this pen. Just waiting on Nestle. Hey everybody. I know, it's a good treat. Oh, it got flipped. Appears to be a hitch. Including Bindi, who's stealing part of it. Bindi, what are you doing? Happy chickens and guineas. Even Gideon found himself a little scrap piece of pumpkin. Huh, buddy? Good pumpkin. Well, we're almost there with our little IPP herd. Now we have all of our boys. We're just waiting on our girls who are going to be ready in just the next few days. Pick them up, get them added in here, and it's going to be pigs. So, these guys are pretty fun to hang out with, so I'm enjoying them so far. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. As always, this is your country nerd with a pig herd, saying that you can grow where you're planted.